Reuben. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Love being here in your studio. Looks absolutely stunning. Love seeing this.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of hard work, and between Joe and Tiffany helped pick out a lot of the design and jazz, and we're grateful. Now we have a fun place to hold our podcast, and man, I'm so happy to have you here. You flew in all the way from Texas to not only be with us here, but to handle some business and be with some family. So thanks for coming over.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So by way of a formal introduction, I wrote it all down because it's a mouthful, but I want to make sure that
you can't say it more than once.
No. Expert realtor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. R&N Real Estate Advisors, powered by C21 Judge Fite. Did I get that right?
You got that 100% correct, yes.
Whew, I can put this thing away.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it now.
Well, tell us a little bit about, Judge Fite. That terminology, was he a real judge? Is it what's the story behind that?
Yeah, well, he wasn't a real judge. That was his name. But the thing is, the Judge Fite company, he started the real estate company himself prior to even the Texas Real Estate Commission. So now it's owned by Jim Fite and his sister. So the company is still family owned. Right now we have over 26 offices in even Austin and Oklahoma City.
Oh, wow.
So the company's really growing a lot, and they keep looking at growing and adding so that we can all help our clients.
That's amazing. Well, I was curious about that. And of course, we know Century 21 well established in America for many years, and such a great company.
Yeah, my first agents were Century 21 agents back in the day when they had those. Remember those orangey, yellow, gold? I mean, they stood out. Yeah. You saw them. Now, I don't know if they liked wearing them, but they stood out. But yeah, they were my first agents that bought and sold my first homes.
Yeah, that's incredible. So tell us a little bit about your entry into the real estate field, and tell us about your market in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah, so I moved to Texas about 4 years ago, and one of the things I wanted to do is actually become an agent in Texas. Now, Texas, what most people don't realize, it's probably one of the most stringent states.
Oh, yeah.
And so we had to do 180 hours to get our license. And then, unlike California, in 4 years, you retake you do some testing. Well, there, within 2 years, you have to do what's a apprenticeship course, and you have to do another 90 hours plus legal after that. Wow. So this is all done. And at first I kind of thought, man, that's just like too much.
Yeah.
But then I realized the more I learned, the better I became.
Yeah.
And so really, instead of being a detriment, rather, I believe it really helps the agents that are there to at least get a very good foundation. So to become a broker there, you need 900 hours. So that is cumulative of what you have, but then you have to do more. But what does that mean? It means that at the very least you can trust that the education is there. So what I did my second year, I did the SAE, I did that, and I did the GRI program and did that. And so I thought, well, the more I learn, the better I can be and help my clients.
Yeah, that makes sense. This guy's knowledgeable, and I would use him. And that's what we're going to talk about too. So part of this podcast, the title, The Mindset of a Champion, what sets you apart? And, Reuben, we've known each other a good while now. There are thousands of realtors all over the country. There's thousands of loan officers all over the country. But what people want to know when they watch this podcast and when we go to send you referrals is, why should I use Reuben? Why should I use John? So what sets us apart? So I'd like to get your thought on that. What sets you apart in your daily routine?
I think what I did when I first learned about something called personal development, and I know you talk about that a lot,
it's
right?
Important.
And you talk about mindset. So the thing I started to do is studying people that have been successful. The idea is that success is a recipe, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you follow these steps, you will get there. And the things that I started seeing was you have to work on yourself first. That's where it starts. You have to work on becoming better. And so I studied, Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy, Les Brown, all these different people that I was introduced to by my real estate mentor. His name was Robert Helms. And when he would speak, he would talk about all these quotes, and I'm like going, man, that sounds great. Wow, that's amazing. And like Jim Rohn, he has a quote. He says, "What's easy to do is easy not to do." Oh, okay. Well, how simple
Sounds
is
so
that,
right?
And that's just it. So really, it became that, and I started studying success habits of successful people. What is it they do? I think starting out your day in a positive mind frame, that's the way I start. So I lay in bed, and the first thing I do is go through my gratitude. What am I grateful for? Who am I grateful for? And you do that, and then I do meditation. That I do a guided meditation with Gabby Bernstein. I do that, and then I try to do some form of exercise, whatever. And it might be just getting out of bed that day.
Right.
You know, at my age, that's you're like doing good. You're like, hey, there's no yellow.
This is a good sign. I got a pulse.
There's no yellow tape around me, so I think it's a good start. But looking at, I think Hal Elrod has a thing called the Miracle Morning. Mm-hmm. And what I notice is most successful people, whether it's Tony Robbins or whatever, teach that.
Yeah.
So when you follow that and you do, now you start your day out great.
Yeah.
You feel accomplished. Like, wow, I can really do stuff today.
Yeah.
And so when I do that and you keep following that, you're going to find that you're set yourself up for a good day. And that's really where I think, to me, the mindset starts with that. You start with it.
Yeah, that's so important. I know with me too. I mean, that really resonates with me. What you're saying. Our broker Joe and I, and we've been best buddies for many years now. Very, very intentional about our day, and that starts, the night before. I think about what my day is going to be like, what I want to accomplish, all the appointments I have, the podcast, whatever it may be. And I set my clothes out the night before so I can kind of like that fireman when you just come down the pole, dress, and boom, out the door, or yeah. Superman, you're in your, and I know that Reuben's coming in today at noon. This is going to be great. Well, what's my intention? My intention is to showcase Reuben's business, to make sure everybody else that watches this podcast knows exactly what he brings to the table, what he's going to do, how he's going to help, and make that client experience amazing. Whether you're buying or selling, doesn't matter. And so I give thought to that. Mm-hmm. And even though we've been friends already, this isn't a first time together, I take all that into consideration too. I know you just sold, you just bought even your own property, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what can we continue to do to give more exposure to you and to Nate, your partner there? So it really does start the day before. And I think about that word champion. I want to get your thoughts on this. What does having a champion mindset really mean to you?
I love that. Being a champion means you want to be a winner.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? If you look at team, in sports, if there's someone that's great but they're egotistical, typically the team doesn't work well around that. Yeah. I look at the Lakers when I lived out here, and when they were just on top of their game, they were unstoppable.
Absolutely.
But why? Because they were a team.
Yeah.
So really the mindset of a champion to me is to be and create a team that's around you as well. But to go out there and not only do that, but do your best. Everything to do your best. And sometimes things don't go like you like it. But I love that Brian Tracy always talks about, instead of saying, what did I do wrong, is what would I do different? And so when you start looking at it that way and don't make it in a negative, but rather, what would I do different? So when you have this mindset, and to your point, I love that you talked about being intentional. I think every day you have to ask yourself, who do I want to be today? Yeah. And you start with the intent for yourself, and then you are that for the day. And so I think, to me, I completely agree with you that the mindset of a champion includes that, but it's not just about you. It has to be what you want to accomplish and who do you want to accomplish that with.
Yeah. Who do I want to help? Who do I want to promote? Who do I want to help grow? And I found years ago, I had a good mentor as well that would always tell me, yes, you have to take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. And then, of course, if you have a wife, love you, honey, You know, it's our job as husbands to take amazing care of our wives. And by extension, they can be our number one supporter
Oh,
for
100%.
anything we do, right? We're nothing without, that voice in our ear that says, honey, have you considered this? Or what about that? But after that, now we turn our attention to the people that's in our circle of influence, our team, and what can I do to make things easier for Reuben's work today? What can I provide? Oh, you know what? There's a new program out, and I remembered him telling me in the past that, he had a client or he was looking for this particular down payment assistance program or whatever it may be. I need to call him. Let me go, hey, Reuben, it's thinking consciously and intentionally about somebody else other than just ourselves all day. And I know you do that because I've known you long enough, and I've seen how you work with clients. You've referred me clients too, and I've spoke to them, and they speak nothing but praises, for yourself. So I really appreciate that about you.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, the part of it is you being, we're blessed because we're part of your team too. And the main thing is that most people, when they're going to purchase a home or do anything like that, this is a big event, right? There's a lot of stress. I know because I'm going through, even myself as
Right.
I'm purchasing my new home too. So I get the whole thing. But the main thing is, what are we here for? As teammates, we're here to help our client, protect our client, and direct them in the right way for them that they're going to get the best benefit.
Yeah.
So ideally, what does that mean? Well, are you going to communicate? And that's what I love about you, John, is that you will sit there and I'll text you, hey, I got this client that's interested. Hey, I call you Johnny on the spot.
Yeah.
Because there you are. You're, all of a sudden you've texted them, did all that. Where you have to have someone that's like that because now it shows you care about the client. And they don't care about you till they know how much you care.
That's exactly right.
And that's really it. And if you can show that right from the get-go, then that's what's going to be wonderful because then they know as you're guiding them because we can't make all their decisions. But the main thing is we're there as guides. We're there to be their GPS.
Right.
And when I have a client, I'm going, okay, I need you to talk to John because here's the thing. He's going to help you get to where you need to be. And you have all those programs that you can mix and match for them. So that's what I really find that if you do that properly, you'll have raving fans, and I know that's what you have.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. That to be a champion doesn't mean to be an island. To be a champion, it takes a village to be a champion. And what champions do is they surround themselves with other champions, like some of the folks that you just mentioned as far as mentors go. And when you have a championship team, just like the Lakers and others that have been championship teams, you are in the best position to help other people. And there's no better feeling. When you go to bed at night and you're like, oh, I hope that family get into their home, or we're almost at the finish line, Yeah, we've had some challenges come up that were unexpected perhaps, but we worked through it. We overcame the obstacle. Either we went over it, through it, around it. And look at this. What a satisfying feeling that is.
Oh, it's such a great feeling when you see the family get their keys. And they're so excited. We just closed on a brand new, she's a first-time home buyer last week. And she was thrilled, and she's just been raving. I was talking to my partner Nate today about that as I'm on my way in.
Yeah.
He goes, she is just so happy that she had to tell a friend of hers about it. So we'll have someone else to hopefully help here real soon that's also going to be a first-time home buyer. But that's the whole idea, is that if you get raving fans, there's no better thing than having a referral that by someone who just loves you, because now that marketing, all it costs you is to do a good job and care for someone.
Yeah. And we went through a pandemic in 2020, and times got tough for all of us. There was challenging financial times. In fact, some of our friends, some of our businesses are still feeling the effects of that, right? And I get asked all the time, like, what did you do differently? How did you pivot? How did you make adjustments so you could stay successful? And I wanted to ask you that question as well. I know, as we mentioned, things were challenging, but how did you survive, but not just survive, but thrive and stay successful during these times?
Well, again, part of it is who you're surrounded by. And besides that, the mindset. And sometimes you do have to pivot. The thing is if you don't pivot, that's where you find yourself in a big problem. You can't be stuck. So you have to then look at other people that are successful as well, and you imitate them. You say, what are they doing to be successful? Whether it's using social media more, whether it's using ChatGPT. There's so many different things that we've been introduced to, and if you don't change or use what's available for you and you're just stuck in a rut, then the world's going to leave you behind. So I think really to your point about pivoting, it's almost having to look and see, what do I need to change and do that might bring in more clientele, or what can I do to be better? And whether it's changing partners and teams or doing different things like that. So it's really studying it and looking at, because if you look at, in particular, you're talking about a championship mindset. When you look at sports teams, when they go in at halftime, they're not talking about where we're going to go out for dinner today. They're going to look at what they did and now what do they need to change to strategize. So I think being intentional, strategizing, and seeing what's working, and go ahead and look around and see what's working for other people. And don't be too proud not to ask someone for help too, because there's so many people that are so willing and giving to help you. And so whether it's hiring a coach or getting help from someone else, if you're just getting started in real estate, it gets kind of tough because you don't really know what to do. But ask, find a good mentor, find good mentors. And I know with me, I have a wonderful broker. He's awesome. He will help you strategize as well. So don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, those are just such wise words. And you mentioned AI, and we live in a world now where a lot of people are adopting AI, and quite frankly, those that aren't are going to be left behind.
They will.
And I heard a question the other day. It was, will AI take my job? And I think both you and I even heard this at the stage when we went back to UWM. And the answer from the president and CEO of United Wholesale Mortgage, he's also the owner of the Phoenix Suns, so he knows a thing or two about success and how to help people. He says, no, the people that are using AI are the ones that will put you out of business. Not AI. AI is a wonderful tool, but if you don't get on board now and start using some form of all the beautiful tools for AI, they're the ones that are going to put you out of business. And so
true.
It's early adoption, making sure that we see what's happening and we don't stay in the same, doing the same thing over and over and over, because that's not good for our clients either.
No.
Right? And I think about it, when times got tough, especially when the rates flew up, people jumped back on the fence, started to wait for real estate. Oh, I got to wait till the rates drop, this and that. And, a lot of realtors, a lot of loan officers left the business.
Yes.
They took off. They're like, this is too hard. I can't deal with this. But those of us that stayed in the business, stayed in the trenches, what did we do? Well, we kept up with the basics. The marketing, you should never leave your marketing. You should never stop communicating with your former clients, your past clients, I should say, who are your current. Stay in front of them. When you leave the basics, that's when you get in trouble.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I think
with it.
NAR has this statistic that says that after a couple of years, a first time or a buyer 80% of them don't even remember who the realtor was.
Right.
Now that's sad.
That's
because
terrible.
here's the thing, you should be keeping in touch with them.
Yeah.
Now here the whole idea is that when you're working for someone like that, you want to be friends for life, basically.
Absolutely.
That at least you keep in touch with them and just say, hey, how you doing? I'm thinking of you, whether it's sending a postcard to them or doing a pop by or doing things like that. There's so many things we can do that you can do just genuinely care for someone and just be around and just say, hey, I saw it was your anniversary. Happy anniversary or something like that, or whatever you want to use. But the main thing is it's not about you. It's still keeping in touch.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at commercials, like, look at Coke. Well, who doesn't know about Coke? But yet you see them advertise on TV all the time. So the idea is you still need to get in front of your clients one way or another.
Yeah, that's so true. And, it's I think about it. Your clients are your biggest source of referral. They are your biggest proponents of, hey, you've got to use my realtor. You got to use my lender. They personalize it because it's very personal to them.
Yeah.
They just went through an emotional experience that you made smooth for them. And they're going to tell everybody about it. But and I think this is a mistake that, speaking from a lender perspective, that a lot of lenders made during the time when it was the refi boom.
Oh, yes.
2021 into 22, rates dropped down into the twos. There were a significant amount of lenders that forgot about their realtor partners. They forgot about the purchase business. And come, once that time is over and the rates go to shoot back up and you go to contact that realtor again, they're like, who are you? Where were you?
It's amazing how quickly we forget, right?
That's not right.
Right.
And that is one thing I can say honestly that I'm proud about iFinance Mortgage, our team, is that we never left the all-important purchase business. The refi business, we were happy to keep that moving. And yes, were we working till 11, 12, 1 in the morning every night? Yeah, we were.
Right.
But to never leave your partners, never do that. Always stay in touch with them, making sure they have what they need. Because you folks are the ones in the trenches out in the field. And we just have to remember to never take our realtor partners for granted.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with clients. You can't take them for granted either. Just because you did business with them once doesn't mean they're going to do it again. So the idea is they may have been happy with you, but if you don't keep in touch with them and get in front of them and just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. It doesn't have to be to sell anything. I think the idea is just to let them know you care, back to caring. Yeah. If you show that you care and all that, you see something on Facebook or something that they had a baby or something.
Right.
Hey, just congratulations and all that. How about just being human? And I think that is really the number one thing. If we're just showed that, empathy for them and also how proud we are of them that they've accomplished something and how happy we are. When they see that, they know, and you're genuine about it, that's the key. You got to be genuine about it. It's got to be you. And if they see that, they go, you care.
I love that. Don't be salesy. Be human. Be kind. Care. Remember what's important to them. I had one client that their kids love soccer. And every weekend I remember the homeowners telling me, oh yeah, we're packing up, and they had their kids were different age groups, so they had different soccer clubs. So one parent at times had to go and take their kid to this event, the other one had to, and that was what they were consumed with, but they loved it. And so my goal was to remember that, and I'd call them up after a long weekend. I'd say, hey, how'd your games go this weekend? They love talking about their kids.
Sure.
Oh, we won this weekend, or we need to do better next time.
Right. But
we didn't even talk about mortgages and real estate. It just is very personal and very caring. And that's why you and I are still in this business.
Yeah, I love it because that's the whole thing is I'll send even video text messages out to people. And I don't talk about like, hey, I'm here, remember me, here's my sign. No, it's just about, hey, how are you? I'm just thinking about you. I saw this, and this. Say something really brief. Just want you to know that I'm thinking of you. Have an amazing day, have an amazing week. And then just send it off. Just simple stuff like that. And it's amazing the responses you get where people go, oh, wow, this is so cool. Thank you for sending me this video, And it's just simple. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to write a book. It's just 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Say hi, let them know. And then when they see you, then the next thing is they know you care too.
Yeah.
They see the genuine in it.
And you know what's interesting too is you shoot that off to them. They check it out. They're like, oh, cool. Yay, Reuben, I'm doing good today. Thanks for checking in with me. And who knows, 5-10 minutes later, they might be in a conversation with somebody else. Maybe they're at the soccer game, right? And they're talking to another parent. And, oh, yeah, you know, my wife and I were thinking about, you know, buying a play.
Yeah.
Reuben.
Yeah, who's first in mind, right?
Yeah. You know, hey, I want you to meet my my realtor. You know, he stays in touch with me. He really cares. I think he'd be a perfect fit. How many times has that story been repeated? So many times in our business, only because we took the time, that 30 seconds, that minute to care for them and show interest. I mean, it pays off more ways than we can count. And
yeah, it's amazing how the law of attraction works. It just, you know, if you put that out there, then it reciprocates, you know, without you even knowing that it's going to happen. Just do it.
Yeah.
And that's it. As one of my coaches used to always say, everything counts. So whatever you do, everything counts. So one of my friends has always pointed out that sometimes you'll go to an event and people put their cards on a urinal. I'm like, well, do you really want to do business with someone that does that? And I've actually literally been to places like that and going, really? This is what you want? So the idea is, how do you want to be remembered? I guess that's one way to remember people. I don't recommend it, but I'm just saying that's so again, everything counts, you know.
Yeah, saying top of mind, I guess.
Top of mind, no kidding.
You know what's interesting too to me is that the Dallas-Fort Worth area that you call a home and that you service so well is it's well, people ask me, is there inventory there? Is there enough? Like if I'm considering moving there, why should I move there? What insight could you offer there, maybe about your market, how the inventory is? Why should people move there?
Well, you know, the latest stats, what's really interesting is the latest stats, especially if you look at Texas as a whole right now, it has about 4.4 months of inventory. So what does that mean? Well, typically 3 to 6 months is your normal inventory.
Right.
So that's the 30,000 foot view. Now the DFW area where we tend to service, where Nate and I work out a lot, is the South Lake, Hollyville, North Richland Hills, that area near Fort Worth. It's just one of the suburbs of Fort Worth.
Yeah.
But what's interesting there is it's a solid 2.2 months of inventory. So we don't see quite as much inventory there in the higher end market as the rest of the state. So there, you still have a lower inventory. Now, even though, having said that, even though we're still that, it still seems to be more a buyer's market for especially first-time home buyers. There's in the $300,000 range, which I know in California you're going, what are you getting for $300,000?
I'll take 4 of those,
yeah,
please.
Exactly. You know, like, what are you talking about? Is that, you know, a 4x4 room? So, no, it's not a prison cell. But you can get, for $300,000, $400,000, you can get a very nice home, especially if you're starting. And so that inventory is up. But here's where you come in, is that you can help us get the rates bought down.
Yes.
And so that is really something that now sellers are offering. So you're able to go in and negotiate that to get them to give you some money back so that you can help your clients. So for people that are afraid, hey, I think the interest rate's too high. Well, that's where John comes in, and now we can drop it. So in our market, we're seeing that the homes in the 300 range, 400 range aren't selling as quickly, but it's still 90 days from start to finish. So it's not horrible. In the other markets, it's less. So the home that I just sold, my own personal home, sold within 2 weeks. There was a house right down the street. This subdivision I lived in it sold pretty quick. It sold within a week. Wow. So when you look at that market, yes, and you really drill down, real estate's local. So ideally, there are some markets that are still getting multiples. I got a multiple offer on my home as well. So that's the market right now that exists. But if you're moving out of California to there, you could get a very nice property for a price that we in California would have said, wow, that's really reasonable.
Yeah.
So that is what you have. So the market is still doing well. We see that as springtime's coming, that it is starting starting to
Oh, yeah.
get busier. So that's fantastic. So the DFW area itself, I think, is a good market that is growing, and we're still seeing the median price is not really dropping, so it's holding steady. So where some other areas, it has dropped. So we're still seeing it right about where it was at. So I think we're still looking at a good market, a good area to purchase if you're looking to move.
Oh, that's great to hear. I know I had a previous podcast here with a California realtor, and I was asking, so are you seeing very many seller concessions? She says, no. It's pretty much a seller's market in her area there. A lot of over asking now, and the sellers being willing to, they don't need to offer concessions. We're going to take this one, and yeah, I'm getting 50,000 more or 100,000 more in some cases, and no, we're not going to offer any. The beautiful thing that I'm finding in Texas, where we're licensed, and also Florida and Arizona, is there are amazing values there. Beautiful homes with amazing school districts and shopping and close to airports where you need to be for travel, such as your area in Dallas-Fort Worth area. And like you said, the sellers are willing, they're motivated to sell their property to a good family, that will resonate with them. Usually there's a connection there.
Right.
There's some kind of story that you can share with the seller to say, this is why you need to choose this buyer, right?
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. I mean, just to your point, the folks that we just sold our house to, when they were done signing, they waited for us to come in and sign because they wanted to say thank you.
Aww.
And because they came and we were at the house when they were, looking at it again, and we actually got a real great connection, got to talk to them and show them around and things like that. So they really appreciated that. And so when you can sell to someone like that, it's just like, it's the icing on the cake. It feels so good when you turn the keys over to someone like that who really appreciates your home. And so it was wonderful. So it was a great experience.
Oh, I love hearing that. Well, Nate, we're going to get to you too.
Nate, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm the ugly side. Nate's the good-looking guy, so
he's a good-looking kid. Working with Nate was what I was going to say. How important do you think it is to have a partner in real estate versus kind of going out there on your own and trying to do things?
Well, my partner Nate's great. He's a young guy. My wife says, well, he could really be your son because he has a lot of your same characteristics and attributes and all that, which we do. But what makes us different is that there's certain things that he brings to the table that I don't have. So I think we have a great dynamic, and it's wonderful to work with someone and that's like that. Not only that has the same heart-centered, wanting to do business with people, always wanting to help like you guys do. And I think that really makes a great difference. So working with a partner like that is great. The other thing that we do is, like, when we write up a contract, we both look over it together.
Yeah.
And this is something I learned in aerospace because my other business is in aerospace. And one of the things I started was a rule that any paperwork that goes out, I want two people to look at it. Because whenever we write something up, sometimes we miss stuff, and you can look at it 100 times and you don't see it.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that. So ideally, we want our contracts when they go out to be as good as we can possibly make them. So we will literally go over that together. We'll jump on a Zoom call and wherever we're at, and we'll go over it. So really, the partnership adds peace of mind for me that I not only am I doing my best, now I have someone else that we're working together. The other day, Nate is our youngest assistant regional sales manager. He was tied up, and our client had a question. She was at the bank, and so she called me because she couldn't get a hold of him. I answered right away. So the idea is that if one doesn't answer, the other one will. And so having that also gives our clients peace of mind. They know that they're going to get taken care of now. Because most people, when they have a question, they don't want to be waiting 24 hours. They want to know right now.
It's important to them right now.
Right now. So let's get this thing answered right away. So that really, having two agents to be able to do that really creates that atmosphere that now they don't have to worry about it. They know they're going to get their questions taken care of, because this is really important for them. So she was at the bank right then and there and says, hey, I got a question, called me up. And I said, yeah, we worked through it, got it taken care of, and off and running. So that's really it. And being able to work with someone that has your same values makes it just that much better.
Yeah.
So now it's teamwork makes the dream work.
Right.
It's just great.
We've had the privilege of meeting both of you and seeing both of you. I call you the dynamic duo. Your passion, your heart and mindset for helping other people just absolutely resonate with Joe and I and iFinance Mortgage and our whole team. And you've had the opportunity to meet a lot of our team and traveling with us too.
Oh, you got an amazing team.
They're
all
good
great,
people.
Just fantastic people. It reminds me of that at Southwest Airlines. The original CEO was asked, "What do you do to train your team to be so good and so friendly and all that?" He said, "We start by hiring friendly people." How about that?
Wow.
That shortcutted it, right? And that's what I see with your team, is that everyone I've met has just been awesome to talk to. They're friendly. They want to be helpful. And I think that if it starts at the top, it all works its way through. And that's what creates that and gels that team.
Yeah, it's a culture. It really is. We realize that if it just takes one bad apple can ruin the culture that we've worked so hard. So in our interviews, we might have multiple interviews with people, and it is so critical to make sure we have people that are caring, that love people. They love to help people. They're well-spoken. They communicate quickly and efficiently. And all of that is what you depend on us to service your client with. And that's why we make it a priority to make sure that everybody that comes into this team, they realize it's a privilege to be on this team. It's not a right. It's a privilege. You can go anywhere else if you want, but it's kind of the few, the proud, like the Marines.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
We only want the best of the best
because
we only work with the best of the best. There's thousands of other agents out there, but we hand select who we want to work with, and we know that that's reciprocal. You need to hand select who you want to work with. So
absolutely. Yeah.
It's really important. Well, Reuben, it has really been insightful. It's been a great opportunity. I know you flew out here. You've got a bunch of other things to accomplish, but to have you on the podcast today has been so valuable. Just one last question for you. To, be successful, we talked a lot of, about a lot of things, but there's realtors out there right now that are trying to figure out, do I want to stay in this business or not? There's lenders thinking the same thing. But to stay successful in 2025 and beyond, what advice would you have?
Well, the first thing is don't quit, and ask yourself, why am I doing this? And when your why becomes so important, you want to make it to be your driver. And so to me, why do you want to do this? And if it's because you want to help people, and if you say money is the first thing, then you need to find something else.
Yeah.
So really, to me, it's that. To be successful, you need to look at what the successful people are doing, copy them. That's perfectly okay. And then don't quit. And like you say, you start your day out and start your plan, be intentional. And I think if you follow those steps and follow the recipe that's been laid out, you will be successful. Is it easy? No. Otherwise, everyone would be doing it. But right now we see so many people leaving. That's true. But these people are wanting the easy way.
Yeah.
And so it's not easy. And as long as you understand that and your why is great, then you will be able to go through it, and you will be better for it. You will learn so much for it, and you'll be super successful, and people will be happy with you.
Well, those words are well said. They resonate with not only myself, but others that are trying to be successful. Reuben Salazar, coming all the way to us from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And we're excited with your new branding too, your website as well, RNN Real Estate Advisors. That's amazing. And of course, you're powered by the amazing C21 Judge Fite. So thanks again for stopping by our studio today, and I wish you the most success.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an honor, and just love that you are part of our team, and can't be more blessed than that. So I'm super grateful for that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let's go help some more families together.
Let's do it.